Let's go. First episode with Eric, with the German, obviously the German Joe Rogan or the German Chris Williamson. Yeah, lots of wisdom today, hopefully. Let's get it started. Shane, how are you going? My co-host today. No Quang again.
Mate, no Quang again. He's on the road again. I reckon that guy, he's going to run out of road soon. I mean, Australia's a big place, but he's been away for what, 4 weeks now? But no, mate, going good, going good. Good to be back here on a Monday morning catching up with you. We're going to talk all things good, great, and amazing about your topic that you've chosen for the day. So, really excited, looking forward to it.
Let's go. Let's go. I've seen some stories of Quang. You're right, when you see his Facebook stories at the moment, it's just road on another drive.
Yeah.
Just awesome, man. Really, really inspirational. Really, really makes me excited for, doing a road trip maybe one day as well with the family. It's
Yeah.
really good thing to do, I think. Awesome. Let's get into the topic for today. ChatGPT helped a bit with the structure, but we don't even need ChatGPT for that. We're just being real today, as always, and want to speak about the man in the mirror, facing the uncomfortable truth that changes everything. Let's see where we get to in the next 20 to 30 minutes. But I think this topic is inspired by us in High Performance Father. We were doing a coaching session a couple of weeks ago where we spoke about the different masks that we wear. So there's like this uh, Japanese proverb that says every man wears three masks. One that he's showing to the outside world, one that he is showing to family and friends, people that are a bit closer, and then one that he shows no one, right? And that's basically then if you take this off, that's your true authentic self. Who are you really behind the mask, and are you are you okay to face the man in the mirror and to see what is under all of these layers, under all of these walls that we built when we grow up, and let's explore that a bit today, because we want to be real, we want to be authentic here. And I know, both of us done a lot of work on ourselves over the years and helping our clients or members with that as well. So it'll be good to have some insights in the mindset behind, but also personally. Yeah, maybe we can be real today and really show who we truly are and who is the man in the mirror without the mask. And maybe first question that I want to ask you, Mr. Shane, it's what's one truth about yourself you resisted for years? So basically asking, so if we really um, go deep, and being really honest with ourselves, and I know we had to do it many, many times. So what's that one truth about yourself that you resisted for years and then potentially, looked into it and worked on it?
Mm, mm. The first one that comes up is how bad does this sound? The first one. How many are there? um, the first thing that came up for me was that I matter. So I remember actually just having a conversation with someone once, and I guess yeah, I was triggered to the thought that I don't matter, and that I specifically remember this moment, and I was just like, oh, far out. I've always believed I didn't matter, and then I can relate it back to all the different things of how I felt about myself at primary school, at high school, and when I was in the army, all those different times when I was hanging out, interacting with different people in different environments. And I think that the mask that I didn't matter would have been the one thing that held me back the most. And once I realized that I do matter, then that's definitely set everything else on a massive trajectory of being able to be where I am today now. Because I guess I never would have been able to be the coach that I am if I was walking around saying to myself, well, I don't matter. No, who's going to listen to me? I don't matter. What value do I have? I don't matter. If I'd kept up that internal dialogue, then that would have held me back for many, many, many more years than I did. So I think that'd be a big thing. And I say it happened in a moment, but I guess as I think about it, it slowly evolved. It unraveled itself for many years prior to that realization that that was what was holding me back. And I guess I was given opportunities to unravel it to the point where I was ready to be able to fully embody it. Because maybe I'd been given that opportunity, say 10 years ago, if I had this enlightening moment where it said, Shane, you matter, I'd be like, I'm not ready for that now. So I had to step into those different versions of myself that I did through the different things that I've done in my life. in order to prove that I did matter. So I could, when I had the realization, then it was reinforced already, and I had the evidence to back it up, rather than trying to create the belief and then find the evidence or create the evidence on the back of it. So that'd be the big one that really, I guess, the mask that I wore for, geez, I don't know, it would have been a long time, 40 something years, I guess you could say. I wore that mask, and I hid behind that mask. And I know, yeah, as I talk about it again, I'm already thinking of different times where I know I've held back because of it.
Glad you did. Glad you took the mask off and then show the world the real Shane, who actually matters and makes a massive difference to the world and the people that you come in contact with. That's awesome. I think pretty similar to myself, so maybe it's something about, not being good enough. And I think I spoke about another podcast before, but this truth, that maybe it's similar to that I matter, but I think it's really like really seeing my own value, that I'm good enough, that I'm worthy, right? And even though other people told me, and I had evidence there, so maybe similar to you as well, it was a process to really realizing it. But then it's got louder and louder, and then eventually I started to believe it. To
Yeah.
believe it, that I actually have value, that I'm worth it, right? Even being on a podcast here, right? And talking about this kind of stuff, who is Eric, who want to listen to Eric? What if it's not good enough? What if somebody is judging me? All of these limitations there that I put on myself, but really worked on that over the last years, and then I realizing, shit, there's so much that I have to offer, so much value that I can give. And does it mean that I'm done now and I have to stop working on myself? No, it's still only feels like the starting point. But that was a big truth that I resisted. I just didn't believe it. I just didn't believe in myself. I just didn't believe that I didn't believe the evidence that other people told me or that was obvious to see about my achievements that I had in my life. And it's something what I see for a lot of people that I deal with, especially high achievers or high performers. I think, to be a high achiever, high performer, that's the underlying thing where what what drives you to perform at this highest levels, because you think you're not good enough or you don't matter, right? And you're constantly chasing. So do you see this as well? If you think about, the people that you work with?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's those things. The thing, I guess, that as we were talking, though, I guess, is it's not like it's a one and done thing. Like, I never had this realization that I mattered and now my life is perfect. It just allowed me to open the door to what else is potentially possible. And now there's no doubt that I've got masks on right now, which are truths that I'm denying within myself, that once I reveal them and uncover them, it'll take me to that next level as well. So I think it's really important to recognize that it's a process, it's a journey. It's not a destination, right? Like, talk about happiness, fulfillment, love, and success. They're not destinations; they're all a journey. Because if we think it's a destination, then we're going to settle it. When we think we've got what it is, we're going to settle, and we're going to miss out on what potentially else is out there. So I would look at this is a journey of unveiling all the masks, and for the people that we work with, yeah, I think there's a lot of them that are still hiding behind masks. They just haven't given themselves the opportunity to start building on it to be able to fully reveal it, because maybe they are aware that there's more after that as well. Potentially, like,
Mm.
oh, if I unleash this mask, or if I uncover this mask, if I own this truth, what does that expose me to? What other limitations will I realize have I put on myself, or what other beliefs will I unravel, or what other masks will I find that I'm currently wearing, and then go, oh, I've got to deal with that one as well now. So I think there'll be some people that just they don't reveal the mask, or they don't own a truth because of the potential. Well, it is because of the potential consequences of what else is going to what else is going to happen, and it could be as the fear of success, like how big will I get. Could be a number of different things, but that could be one of them. Is like, man, if I fully own this, then people are going to really see me. People are going to really judge me. People are really going to all these
Mhm.
different things, right? Reject me, whatever. So, yeah, I think it's a real common thing. And like you say, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't matter. I don't deserve success. I'm a failure. All those different things. They're all the one thing that really hold us back, and it's just about how we language it.
Yeah. And isn't it interesting that then people who are successful, whatever we define as success, maybe let's say somebody in business, that's maybe the most the most tangible thing, these are guys who actually really own it, right? And they're really themselves. Isn't it interesting? And it's really that simple. What's the secret to success? Is to really own yourself and really to believe that you matter, and is to believe that you're good enough, and then being okay to receive judgment potentially for that. It's interesting,
Mm.
but then on the flip side, people judge you anyways. So why not judging you for the real you?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be judged for this version that you put up? Yeah, like really good example. Just last weekend we had like a big family event, right? And there was a certain situation where I made a decision for us as a family for a certain situation there, right? And that potentially drew a lot of judgment, But I was okay with that because that's my decision and that's my values or our values as a family. And let's say I as the man of the house, made this cool. And then of course there was some judgment, but then I was thinking, and even when I was speaking with Tiff, and on the flip side, there's always judgment, and then you know do we value this potential judgment of like other people more than the judgment of ourselves of doing the right thing? So this was something where I was always hiding before, not thinking about um, who is the man in the mirror. And a man in the mirror for me is somebody who has certain values and certain morals, and is able to follow through, and not like always trying to please people and always trying to not to offend someone, and you know um always hiding it, but being okay to be wrong sometimes, being okay to make people upset if needed. So when I think what's the man in the mirror that I want to look at when I look at myself, I want to be this type of person, which is something about identity, I guess. Who do we want to be? Hmm. Next question that I have for you, Mr. Shane, is like, what has really changed? Maybe we're going in this direction. You already touched a bit on it, but maybe if you wanna bring a few examples or just in general, once you really owned yourself and you understood that you matter and you're really this man that you want to see in the mirror, what has really changed? What's the potential, for you, but also for other people if they actually do it?
Yeah. New experiences, like pretty much like the thing that's changed is I've been open to new experiences and open to new opportunities. So that's potential for everybody. Is in order for you to have something different, you must do something different, right? So by letting down that mask and exposing yourself, you could say, even in the metaphor of the mask, is to let down the mask and to be exposed to different situations or different people and person, people, situations, and things. Then you give yourself more opportunities to experience more in life. Because right now the mask is just keeping you contained within a small world. It's a very small world that you're a part of right now. And it's not till you take off one mask where you get exposed to more, which is more opportunities, more situations, more things that could work for you, or that you can be exposed to learn from. And then we realize that world's small anyway, so we've got to take another mask off. So the whole potential, the potential out of putting down the mask is more opportunities for you right now than what you've currently got, rather than just staying confined in the small world that we currently live in, that we see right now.
I love that. More opportunities, and I think that's maybe the reason why so many people are scared to do it, because with these more opportunities, there's coming more challenges, more masks to take off, going deeper. It's like in the Matrix when you take the red pill, you can't
Yeah.
unsee it, right? And then you're on this journey, and then um maybe can be lonely sometimes as well, right? Because there are not many people that maybe that are on this path of really facing their truth and want more out of life, right? And most people just want to come by and maybe live a bit of a mediocre life, which is okay, But then I guess that can be lonely as well, even like in your immediate family. When you were speaking, I was thinking, we become that person, and I think we spoke about it in other podcasts before. Then your immediate environment, let's say even the relationship or with the kids or with the family, extended family, right? I think what's wrong with this guy? Why is he suddenly, why is he so different? Why is he doing certain things? Why he's not doing certain things anymore? Like drinking is a big one. I know we spoke about it before in other episodes, but it just came up in our community again. We are not a program where we say you can't drink, but it's kind of a byproduct if you really work on yourself. But if you want to be a high performer, it just doesn't make sense to get smashed all the time. Doesn't mean you can't drink at all. Most of the guys, they either don't drink or they maybe once or twice per month on like special occasions, a few, but it's more like a byproduct. But that's really hard to understand for like the people around us. And we want to be real, and we have these goals, and we want to take the mask off and want to live this better and different life. But then people around us maybe don't understand, don't support us. Yeah, so that's definitely something to be mindful as well, and finding like-minded people. Like we found each other in this sense. That it's normal for us. We wouldn't necessarily jump on the call here, or when we catch up before the podcast. Oh, how was your weekend? Oh, it's crazy, crazy nights out, and done all of this crazy nights. More like, hey, we done this with the family, or here's this thing that we done in business or with work, right? So that's the conversations that we have. So I think talking about all of that as well is it's really important to have the right people around us, the right environment that helps us to go down this path and to take the mask off and then taking more masks off. So otherwise, it can be very lonely, isolating, very confusing, and then we want to be real, but no one really appreciates it.
Yeah. I think the thing that's really important is like, well, you talked about the different masks, like the community, the family, and then like yourself. But even in the community, there's like lots of sub masks, right? So it's like I have a different. I still do it now. I still have a different mask on when I go to rugby compared to when I go out with some coaching people, compared to when I go out with just some other friends that I have around here. It's all a different mask because I play the best role that's going to be the best for that environment, because people like people who are like themselves or like the way they want to be. So people will become someone different in different environments just so they feel like they fit in. So like I say, the conversations I have at rugby are very different to what I would have with some other friends from the local community here that I've got. And it's very different from what I would have with other coaches. It's very different from what I have when I'm back in New Zealand with the family. It's very different to what I would have for old army mates. It's very different to what I would have with old rodeo mates, right? So, but I'm going to have the conversation that best suits the situation as well. And that's where having these different masks comes in as well. But then the question is, are one of those masks holding you back from being the best version of yourself in one of those situations? And the example, if you use the drinking one, maybe it is that I just get blind drunk when I'm with the rugby boys, or I'm just blind drunk when I'm with the rodeo mates, right? But then I don't other areas as well. But I'm putting that mask on of being a drinker in order to be able to fit in there. So then really the real question is, are the masks that I'm wearing serving me or limiting me or holding me back or changing me in a dysfunctional way versus a functional way?
100%. And I think it's spot on what you're saying, because we are all wearing masks, and that's important. Of course, I'm a different version of myself when I'm with Sophia and my 4-year-old, or if I have a conversation with a client who's a business owner and needs some direction and accountability. It's a very different version, maybe different energy that I bring. And then I think this was actually what we came up in this big coaching session that we have, that we want to be in control of the mass. There's something about being conscious about, okay, I'm going in this situation. That's exactly what you're saying. So I'm putting on a certain mask, when I go and speak with the guys that I do sport with, or when I'm with the family, or when I'm at work, or when I'm in a social situation. But it's really about being in control, and I think there is some authenticity behind, and the less masks we can wear, the better. Maybe it's possible. I don't know if it would be possible to only have one mask or one version of yourself. Maybe it is possible as well. And setting up your life in a way where you don't even have to have different masks, where you just can really truly be yourself. Would it be possible? I don't know. Would it be possible?
I don't think it would, because you would get rejected by a lot. Like if you just had if you only ever wore one mask, you get rejected by probably 95% of the people you interact with because they wouldn't understand you. Which is why we have the alternate mask. We have it's like a revolving mask, right? Because we have to fit in certain environments because of that fear of rejection kicking in. So I would say it's not possible just to have one mask because, well, I mean, okay, I take that back. It is possible, but no one would want to.
Hmm. Maybe if you're living in the forest somewhere or in the bush by
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah,
maybe
that's
then
that's the
that's
one thing I'm thinking. Maybe if it's just you and one other person and you both had the same mask and you never saw anyone else.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, awesome. Maybe last question to tie it all together. What's maybe some daily practices, or like some things that you are doing or that somebody else can do to maybe stay conscious, maybe consciousness or awareness, as always, very important word or words, what can we do to be conscious about the mask that we wear? And being sure that we actually acting like the man in the mirror and not like some other version that we maybe don't want to put out there.
Yeah, I think you touched on it earlier around what you talked about just recently with the family is like know your values and live your values regardless of what mask you've got on. Because your values are going to be the highest driver. Is when you cross your values, you put out a fake version of yourself, which then causes like the internal disruption or the internal discombobulation of, oh, I'm not being true to myself. And that's when real judgment will come, is when, oh, look at Eric, he's not even being the truest version of himself. He's not being himself right now. So I would say know your values and live your values within each of the masks that you wear in the different environments, so that you don't break those values. Like for real example is I got a value that I don't drink now, right? We spoke about the drinking. So it doesn't matter what environment I go into, whether it's rugby, whether it's rodeo, whether it's past army mates, whether it's with my current friends, the other coaches and stuff, or anyone else I might go out with, all of those environments, they have people that might drink. But I'm not going to cross my value of being a non-drinker now just to try and fit in, because then I would be a fake version of myself. So really, I guess, yeah, best thing to work on is get clear on your values and why they're important to you. And then what do you do, or how do you live those values day in, day out? And how will you live those values in all the different environments that you're in?
Mm, love it. So I would maybe add something practical would be then how do we have this awareness is through journaling, like a really simple exercise and having some questions about, like a weekly reflection. That's what I do every Sunday, where I have a few questions that I ask myself and where I journal on. Maybe takes 10 or 20 minutes to remind myself of who I am. Could be even like 3 words, like a simple exercise, like okay, what is like 3 words that I want to be? Like, I want to be courageous, I want to be um understanding. I want to be fun to be around, or whatever these words could be, and then um exploring them. Maybe there are even different ones. Maybe there are some for the family, some for work, and some for the social circle. And like always, reminding ourselves. Then I guess just doing some form of personal development. Listening to podcasts like that, and finding other people that are open for these concepts. Yeah, and then really understanding yourself better. I think it's really about that, and actually figuring out your values and then checking in with them, setting okay, that's the person I want to be, and then okay, by the end of the month or end of the week, how did I actually go? And bring that in, and maybe the next level would be, if somebody is in a relationship, maybe even doing it together with the partner or with the family potentially, could even be with the kids together, and then there's a bit more accountability, and maybe that's the dinner conversation that we have rather than talking about the news or other stuff. So you want to check in personally, but maybe that could be something as well.
100%, mate. Yeah, I love that too. And I love the journaling idea as well. I think the very last thing would be to really just question yourself, like, what are those fears that are stopping you right now? Because essentially the mask is just a fear. The fear that I don't matter, the fear that I'm not good enough, the fear that I'm not worthy, the fear that I'm a failure. So I would look into those fears that are triggered, that are written all over the mask, that you look at, that you say to yourself when you're, I mean, the most dangerous thing you'll ever hear is what you say to yourself when you're by yourself.
Mm.
So ask yourself, like when you're looking in the mirror, what are you saying to yourself? And then work out, well, how is that limiting me and how can I overcome that?
Oh, spot on. Agree. Great, great finish of the session. So I think it's something about being okay to be uncomfortable, right? Stepping out of the comfort zone. That's part of that as well. Having these real conversations with ourselves, like you said, the most important conversation that we have is the one that we have with ourselves when no one is watching. It's interesting about self-talk, and now some doing it for a living. That says I'm really conscious about what people talk or when they talk about it, even if they make fun, if somebody makes fun in a certain way, and it's always very negative towards themselves, right? So that becomes then a very negative outlook and self-fulfilling prophecy. Huh.
100%, mate. Just taking a note. Just reminded me of something else that I wanted to do some content on actually. So
Awesome. Good stuff. Awesome session. I hope that was valuable. If or for whoever is listening to that. Actually, I had one of my don't know how to find it. I got it in the HPF community. I have like about 100 members that I look after, and I maybe shared it once, and then the one guy said, "Oh, I listened to your other podcast, the Dead Boss podcast. Was some really good points there, and yeah, great, great that people
so
listen to it." So
now we've got 4 followers.
your mom, my mom, yeah. Yeah, so if you get some value from it, then comment under it or share it with someone that could get value from it. But awesome session. Really, really like this, short and sharp sessions to going a bit deep on certain topics. Um, I enjoyed it.
Absolutely, mate.
Awesome. What did we say at the end? Usually, it's my first session.
Uh,
They have to help me.
this is
That
normally
was
Quang would say, "This is Q. This is Eric. This is say shot signing off. Blah blah blah. Dad bods, dad boss. That's what we do."
See you next week.